Some unlikely games are starting to enjoy something of a comeback. Long forgotten or even fictional, there are some unusual sporting activities drawing more and more enthusiasts, and they're just as fun to watch. The Real Tennis French Open was held in Paris late September and saw the best players in the world competing over a one-week period.
It's an annual competition and one of the Grand Slam tournaments. Just 4 countries in the world play real tennis: the United States, Australia, England and France.
So real tennis, or court tennis, lives on, and although it originated in France, it's more popular elsewhere. There are 10,000 players worldwide, but just 300 of them are French.
With our committee, we're working on developing real tennis and getting courts opened and reopened.
Because although there's growing interest in real tennis, there is a major obstacle. There are now just 2 surviving courts in France, this one in Paris and another in Fontainebleau just outside the capital. And yet for centuries it was the most popular sport in France, played across the country.
It's believed that people first started playing real tennis in the 14th or 15th century, and it was very popular during the French Renaissance in the 16th and 17th century. Historical accounts suggest there were some 250 real tennis courts in Paris at that time, and several hundred across France. Everyone was playing real tennis, rich and poor, young and old.
Those who had the means played with rackets, and those that didn't used their hands or palms, hence a French name for the sport, jeu de paume. The game's popularity waned after the introduction of outdoor or lawn tennis in the 19th century. It was easier to play and with simpler rules. Real tennis enthusiasts, however, prefer the more strategic game.
You can use the ceiling, the walls, and you can have double rebounds, so it's much more complex than tennis or squash.
And in a less conventional category, we have roller derby, a contact sport on roller skates created in the United States in 1925 and pretty much abandoned in the 80s. But it's enjoyed something of a revival following the 2010 movie Whip It, directed by Drew Barrymore, and teams started forming in France. The Succube team was started in 2012 in Yvelines, near to Paris, and the bad boy or bad girl image certainly contributes to the sport's popularity. Roller derby is a whole new world. The gear is very different, tattoos, body piercings, and the music's pretty rock and roll. And no place for fear. It's a contact sport, and the rules of this spectator sport are rather complex. 2 teams of 5 members skate in the same direction around an oval track. Each time a player manages to pass through the opposing pack, they score a point. And in order to get past, well, you have to push. You can only knock opponents with your shoulders, no elbowing, no fists. You can also knock opponents with your hips and with the front of the torso. It's a real release. With someone else out there. I like to say that it's a guy's sport for girls. It also helps develop self-confidence. A lot of the girls that come here are shy to begin with, and it's really helped bring them out of their shell. Roller derby is becoming increasingly popular, and the federation now has over 3,000 members, 80% women. Membership at the Succube Club is now 6 times greater than it was when the team launched 6 years ago, and so there are lots of new recruits to train. We call them the fresh, as in fresh meat. You have to know how to fall. You need to try and fall onto just one knee so you can get up again straight away. The fresh need to pass a written and practical exam before being allowed to play in matches. Now, less formal and without a doubt even less conventional, quidditch. Straight out of the J.K. Rowling Harry Potter books, the international sport of the wizarding world has been brought to the real world.
Quidditch was created by 2 sports students in the US in 2005. They adapted the game for the non-magical world, and it's really taken off, with a governing body and proper rules. As in the books, it's played with a quaffle, which is a slightly deflated volleyball that players can catch and grip. And there are 3 chasers who win 10 points for their team each time they throw the quaffle through one of the opposing team's circular goals. Both teams have a keeper protecting their goals.
And the chasers have to contend with the beaters, who try and stop them scoring by trying to hit opposing players with another ball called the bludger. And let's not forget an essential piece of equipment for all wizards, the broomstick.
We have two types of player. The avid Harry Potter fans, who are living their childhood dream of playing Quidditch and riding on a broomstick. I'm one of them. And then we have the keen athletes who are excited about trying a different sport and being part of something new.
Indeed, Quidditch is still relatively unknown in France. The first team was formed in Nantes in 2011. There are now 20 or so teams. That's around 150 players.
France's first national Quidditch tournament will be held on the 6th and 7th of December. And then we're launching a French league which will run all year long.
An opportunity to introduce people to Quidditch. The training sessions certainly arouse interest.
It's fun. I had no idea that it actually existed and that there were so many teams in France.
The game ends when a player catches the final ball of the game, the golden snitch, which is attached to a neutral player. The next tournament will take place on the 25th and 26th of October in Vincennes, where 160 players from all over the world are expected to attend.